All right. Now it's recording.
Yeah, but now my screen disappeared. What happened? Oh, hold on. I think it's just... the screen just timed out, apparently.
No,
there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I graduated in 2004 from Miss Holland's class. And I really have to owe a lot of my success to really the whole VOAG program, because I was really shy. And when you're forced to do a lot of public speaking in VOAG, you can't really be shy anymore. So plus I was new to the school because I went to Winstead school. So coming to regional was like, I think I had like 4 friends that joined me at regional, but everybody was a stranger to me, which didn't help being shy. So I guess being in the VOAG, I always knew that I wanted to do something with animals, which is why I went to Regional 7 to begin with. And sorry, I'm trying to dress this little baby up. She's really old. She's like 17 or something, and she has to have her little coat on because it's cold outside. So I'm gonna go sit at my desk really quick. You know, sitting there with like all you kids, I wanted to be a veterinarian, of course, because, well, who doesn't, you know? And I volunteered at a vet office in Torrington when I was in high school. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to do. This is great. I got to they let me assist on some surgeries, just hand tools. And I got to watch on some of the smaller surgeries. And I thought, this is great. Like, the blood didn't bother me. None of that bothered me. But then I also had to assist in putting down 10 different dogs. And couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. I cried at every single one. And I don't even know these people or their dogs. And then I was like, I can't do this. So I had to change my idea of my future, because the veterinarian was just not for me. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I got a job at a pharmacy while I was still in high school, and I liked that. But I knew I wanted to do something with animals. So then one day I got a job at Petco and in the grooming salon. And I thought, well, this is, I like dogs, right? Love dogs. And I started there, and I started just washing dogs and all of that. And then I went to school for grooming through the program they have there. And then I stayed with them for 7 years. And I traveled all over. I moved to upstate New York. I moved to Pennsylvania. I moved to Florida. And I was able to just transfer, which was really great. But then when I moved back to Connecticut, I transferred to a Farmington Petco, and they granted me manager over there. So I moved up, and then I was training people, and that was really great. And then the company just, in my opinion, started going down the drain, and I had to get out. And I had to make a lot of really quick, tough decisions. I had to decide what I was going to do, where I was going to go, if I was going to switch companies. And I just chose to just go all in. And I quit, and I opened my own thing. And it was really scary. So scary, because I had kids at the time, and bills, and an apartment. And was I going to be successful? And it took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of hard work and determination, and can't be shy. You just can't. You have to get out there. You have to meet people. You have to put yourself out there. And I have been on my own for almost 7 years, I think. 7, I think. And I am, I think, very successful at this point. It took me a couple years. When I left Petco, I did take about 60 clients with me when I left. So I was doing house calls. But I had to drive all the way to Farmington all the time from Winstead. So that kind of sucked. But then I was out of the house for a little while, which wasn't ideal because my house was covered in dog hair all the time. And then I opened a shop, not the one I'm in now, but another one over here on Gay Street over by Pearson School. And it wasn't pretty. It was a basement of a doctor's office, and it looked like a basement. I called it the dungeon, but it was really cheap. The guy only charged me like $500 a month, and sometimes I made that much money in one day. So it was convenient, and it was, again, the dungeon, but it had everything I needed. It worked. The only thing working against me was nobody goes down that road unless you live on it or know someone that lives on it. So I didn't have a lot of exposure publicly unless I put myself out there. And I was busy anyway, but I was there for 2 years. And then this location where I am now, if nobody knows, it's on Raleigh Street next to R&B's and the Tributary. And I have street view. I have big windows. It's bright in here. I don't feel like I'm in a dungeon. And once people could see my sign driving by, my business just exploded in a good way. I think I have roughly 600 clients-ish, and that's people, not dogs. I probably have around 1,000 pets-ish. You know, some people have multiple pets. I have some guinea pigs that come and get washed. I have some bunnies that I brush out and do like toenails on and stuff like that. I have a parrot that comes gets his beak dremelled. That kind of stuff we weren't allowed to do at Petco. We weren't allowed to groom anything but dogs and cats. So I have to give that kind of credit to learning from Miss Holland's class, because we had birds and we had to do their beaks. We had chickens. We had all those things. So I obviously learned all that there. But I mean, owning a business is, can you hear him crying?
I think it's okay. I think most of the kids are kind of used to those noises.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I don't know, because I have AirPods in, so I'm not sure if it blocks it out, but he's like howling in the back. He's like, whoa. Yeah. I mean, like, so I think that it's important to know that if you don't feel like you're going to be a college kid, right? College isn't for you. Maybe it's not. It wasn't for me. I thought about going, but I thought I'll take a year off. And then I did take a year after high school, and I just didn't want to go back to school. I hated school. But there are so many careers out there that don't require college. And I honestly make sometimes more money than some of my friends with college degrees. But I work really hard for that money. But you know, I think owning a business, though, it's not about becoming rich. I live comfortably, but to me, it's not about the money. It's I don't wake up every morning dreading going to work. I have to work today. I don't have that feeling. I love my job. I love coming to work. I never feel, sometimes I have like certain dogs I don't really like grooming. And so there's like an hour in my day I'm not going to be happy about, but it has to get done. But overall, I never wake up hating going to work. And I have so many friends, even with college degrees, who don't like their job. And I'm just really happy that I went in this direction. And I think also with owning a business, it's not about how much money you can make. It's about building relationships with your clients or whatever kind of business you're in, whether it's mechanics or HVAC or electrician, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're going to have clients. You're going to have employees. You're going to have people that you have to deal with. And I know so many other groomers that are very good at what they do, but they don't have the personality for it. And so a lot of people don't like going there, not because they don't do a good job, but because maybe they're not friendly enough. I know at least 300 of my clients on a relatively clientele personal level. I know about their families. I know their kids' names. I know a little bit about their life or whatever, like we talk. And so when they come in, I can just be like, hey, how's Charlie doing? Or, you know, how's your son overseas in the Army? And people love that. They love that. They know my kids because my kids are here a lot. I have like a little play area that they hang out in on weekends or after school if I'm here. And so they're always asking me. And I think that that's just really important in owning a business. It will put you above anybody else. Even if someone is better than you, they'll probably come to you if you have more of a personality than anybody else. And so I think that being in the VOAG program, I think really, at least it helped me. I don't know about everybody else, but just like really blossom. I went to the Camp Oswegatchie 2 years in a row. And I don't know if you guys still do that, probably not with COVID, but the camp alone was very helpful as well. They do a lot of public speaking things and teamwork, team building, skill building. And I think I owe a lot of my personality growth to that. I don't know.
Do you have any like current employees that help you, or is it just like yourself?
I do. I have 2 girls. One does weekdays sometimes, although I may be letting her go because I don't think she's really up to par from what I need her to be. And she likes to be on her phone a lot, which I also don't like.
Yeah.
Which, like, I don't mind if there's nothing to do and you're going to take a little break until something else is there to do. But when you're doing it while you're working, I'm not a big fan of that. The other girl, she works on weekends sometimes, and she is a client of mine who I kind of just sort of hired because I needed somebody, but she had experience. She had worked in a grooming salon years ago as a bather and stuff. So I knew, and she's a little bit older. The other girl that works the weekdays, she's going to be 21 at the end of this month. And I think she just never had a job and she's in college still. So her mindset is not really like I'm making money and starting something. So, but Brooke is older and she, lives on her own and all this. She's in her late 20s and she has the experience. So when she works, it's like a whole different ball game. She's just on top of everything. I don't even have to watch what she's doing. She just gets it done. And we work very well together, which is important. Finding employees that you work well together is definitely important. I've worked in a lot of grooming salons over the years, private ones and companies. And I've learned so many different things from all different people, whether they're like medical things or just tips and tricks. But there have been people I did dread working with every day. Didn't hate my job, just hated the people I worked with. And then there's people I've worked with that I've loved and I miss them terribly and they've moved on to their own things. And, we keep in touch, but so definitely important to have good employees. I will probably be looking for somebody in the late spring, summer. So if anybody, maybe has a lot of drive and doesn't sit on their phone all day, you could email me or text me. But probably for summer, because like you guys are all in school and I need somebody that can do weekdays. But yeah, so I do have some employees and right now it's a little slow. It's just, this is the slow season from about January to March. Still busy for me, but not super busy to have somebody here 3-4 days a week. But summer and holidays, typically I have an employee at least 2-3 days a week at least. Brooke and I have groomed about 25-30 dogs on a Saturday together around the holidays, which is a lot. Most groomers don't do that much. I would be considered a power groomer, which means I can groom a lot in a little amount of time and do it well. But it also helps when you have the right equipment. So no matter what your job is, whether you go into any field, whatever, doesn't matter, just get the good tools. Obviously, if you don't have the money right up front, you get what you got to get. But when you have the money, just do it. Because like I just got a new blow dryer. This sounds stupid, but like a year ago, and it was $500, which is a lot for a blow dryer. And I could have afforded it for a few years now, but I put it off because I thought, well, the ones I have aren't terrible. They work pretty good. And I was only spending maybe like $150, but they only lasted about a year. And I thought they did a really good job, but then I just bit the bullet one day and I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to buy it. And I bought it. And I don't know what I was thinking. I never should have not bought this for years and years and years, because it literally cuts my drying time in half. And yeah, I just have to check this dog in really quick. Just give me 1 second. I'm just gonna.
So while you guys are waiting, how about you guys think about maybe other questions that may have come up that you would like to ask her? Okay.
You're welcome. This is Fluffy. I don't know if you can see him. He's new here.
He's so cute.
He's a Bichon. Hi. You're cute. I'm gonna put you down, but don't pee anywhere, okay? He probably will. They always pee. But so let's see. I don't know what's happening. Where were we?
Oh, so I have one student who has a question to ask you.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so before I remember you saying you like Dremel birds' beaks. Do you do anything other than like birds, dogs, and cats, or is it just those three?
I have this one lady. She has 3 guinea pigs, and she brings them in, and they get washed and their toenails clipped. And I do a lot of bunny toenails. I have had somebody bring me sugar gliders a couple times to do their toenails. Those are really tricky. I did not like doing that. They're very tiny and they roll up in this little ball, and it's really hard to pull their feet out. And they like to bite, so you have to like wear little gloves. And I do cats, obviously, and I don't know. I think that's it. I don't know what else I've done. I mean, I've gone to like friends' houses and dyed like their horse's hair or something, but I haven't really done. I don't think any other, ferret maybe. I think I've done a ferret over the years. But that's really. I mean, I'm open. I wouldn't shave a bunny. I mean, I know people do that, and I've had people ask me. But I've done a little research. I'm always doing research, which is something you should always do when you own a business. There's no matter what field you're in, things change, laws change, tools change. It doesn't matter. But so I researched shaving a bunny once, and what I came up with was their skin. And cats have very thin skin as well. Dogs are pretty thick, but the cat skin is very thin. But apparently, rabbit skin is even thinner. And if you nick it even a little, I'm told that it will just rip right off the rabbit like you skinned it to eat it. It'll just. And so I was like, well, I'm just not going to do that because I can't take that risk. So I just send them to like vet offices for that kind of thing. But I will brush them. I do their toenails, that kind of thing. But I won't shave a bunny. But, I do think, I think a lot of people only see dog grooming as like making dogs pretty and smelling nice. And it's a lot more than that. I have found cancer on dogs. I have, I discover ear infections people don't even know their dogs have, or other medical issues. And so there's a small part of me that still feels like I'm in the vet field, just not all the way. Like I'm constantly helping, people keep their dogs healthy, besides the grooming end of it, which is very good for their dog. A lot of people think one of my annoying things that people say to me is, oh, I have a boxer, let's say. He doesn't need grooming. He's a boxer. I'm like, well, does your dog sleep in your bed? Because if he does and he's dirty, that's kind of gross. I mean, I have a pit bull. She doesn't need grooming. She sleeps in my bed, so she gets washed. She gets her toenails dremeled. She gets her ears cleaned because they're constantly gross. I don't know why. And, but I still wash her. I mean, like, there's a pit bull back there. Obviously, some people bring me these dogs, but that's probably the one thing that annoys me the most is when people tell me their dog doesn't need grooming. I'm like, even if you wash it at home, that's still grooming. You're still washing your dog. So that's just because you don't have to bring it to me, that's fine. But I wouldn't say it doesn't need anything. I'm sure it needs its toenails clipped, its ears cleaned. Maybe it's glands expressed. It needs dental work probably. All those things are really important. I include teeth brushing in my regular grooming price. A lot of people don't do that. They charge extra for it. To me, I feel like it's such an important part of grooming that if it was given the option, most people aren't going to want to pay extra for something. And I think it's too important, I think, to skip. I mean, we wouldn't skip brushing our teeth, and we wouldn't do it for 3 months between our groomings. You know what I mean? I'm only going to brush my teeth right before I go to the dentist. That's not how we do it. So I think it's just an important part. And I the amount that it cost me to buy the material is silly that I would charge extra for it. Like a lot of people charge $10 to $15 to brush their teeth. The bottle of toothpaste costs like $9, and the toothbrushes cost maybe like $25 for a pack of 50, but you can cut them in half because they're double-sided. So you get like 100 toothbrushes. So I can groom one dog and it paid for those materials. And the materials will last me one bottle plus those toothbrushes a month, maybe. So to me, it's worth it to just include it. And if you ever start your own business, those are things that you're going to see, whatever it is. Like I do a lot of things for people, but they don't even ask for, just because to me, I think it's important. And I would rather the dog be happy and healthy than skip out on something because someone didn't want to pay a couple extra bucks. I had a lady come yesterday. She has a little Shih Tzu. She keeps it pretty long. She does most of the grooming herself, but he got a little matted on his chest, and it was too matted to brush out. So she just wanted me to buzz the chest. And so she dropped the dog off for like 10 minutes while she ran to the bank, and I shaved the chest, and he could have really used a bath. I didn't do a bath because I didn't have that much time, but I did brush him all the way out. I brushed his whole body, even though she didn't ask for it. I clipped his toenails, even though she didn't ask for it. And I shaved around his little private areas, even though she didn't ask for it. And I didn't charge her for it. I just did it because it needed to be done. Those were things she probably can't do on her own. She was an older lady. The dog wasn't terribly in bad condition. She takes relatively good care of him, but I shaved his little feet out because they get really hairy, and then he slips all over the place. And like, those are just the kind of things that people are going to come back to me for. They're going to come back because I went in extra length that somebody else wouldn't have done. Somebody else would have, I think I charged her $10 to shave the chest, and that was it. And the other places might have only charged $10 or $5 even, but they would have that's all they would have done. They wouldn't have done anything else. And so I pride myself in doing those kinds of things. I help out the community a lot too. I have donated like gift certificates to all kinds of fundraisers, which is great for the community, but also advertisement. So there's that. He's crying so hard back there. He wants to come out. He knows there's another dog out here.
I have a quick question to ask you. So
yeah,
with your dog grooming business, like, do you get people like in your dog grooming business? Do you only give this pets, or do you also like show dogs or like show animals or anything like that? Do you get those clients in?
Yeah. I don't really do show dogs. I think it's not really because I don't. It's because this is Winstead and there's not a lot of people with show dogs. I do have a client that has a Belgian Touveron, which is sort of like a long-haired shepherd, if you don't know what it looks like. And they do show him. So the thing is that most people who show their dogs, a lot of them groom their own dogs. Mm-hmm. Not everybody, but like out in California, they might have like groomers, but because it's like higher end out there. But people around here typically groom their own dogs when they show them. I went to school with, I don't know if you know her personally, but her name is Vicki Polinkus. She works at Petco. She's a dog groomer over there. But she was a year or two older than me in the VOAG, but she showed Australian Shepherds, I think, or Malamutes maybe. I can't remember. I think she has Australian Shepherds now, but they might have been Malamutes back when we were in school. And her and her mom showed dogs, but they groomed their own dogs. And so I don't do that, but I do a lot of rescue dogs. I do like I have a lot of clients who foster dogs. I also foster dogs. So I typically do either very cheap or free groomings for foster dogs, depending on, like, if it's just like a bath type dog, like a boxer or something like that. I mean, I probably either don't charge anything or very little, like $10 or something, just because, or they just insist on paying me even if I say nothing. So I do offer a lot of that. I do discounts for people who are in the fire department, in the police department, active, any kind of military veteran or active. I think it's important to, take care of the people that take care of us. Mm-hmm. And so I usually do like a 10% discount, something like that, or a little more if it's like actually on the holiday, like on Veterans Day, I might do like 20% if you're a veteran on Veterans Day that comes in, something like that. So I think it's just important to, if you live in a community, especially a good one, I think Winston is a pretty good community overall. It's important to take care of your community, because you do, and word of mouth is going to spread your business further than anything else. You could spend thousands of dollars on advertisement and have nothing. You can have nothing but debt. But you do whatever your job is, you do it well a few times, and those people are going to tell other people, and they're going to tell other people. Mm-hmm. And I'd say at this point in my career, at least 75% is word of mouth for me. I very rarely have I do very little advertisements at this point. I have very little. I mean, if I do something, it's really just to help the school out. Like Gilbert will ask if I want to put an ad in their theatrical playbook or their yearbook or whatever. And it's, I'll pay $50 for that, but I don't really do it for the advertisement. I do it for the school. I do it to help them out, but it's nice to have the advertisement. I don't know how much I get from that. But so like a couple years ago, well, when I first started, I had put an advertisement on a placemat at one of the local restaurants. And it was kind of pricey, I thought, but I did it anyway because I feel like a lot of people eat there. But I think I only got like 2 or 3 clients from that. And I think it barely paid for the ad. So I just didn't think that particular thing was worth it. So I pulled myself out of that, and I had done other advertisements. I think Facebook works really well because you can pay to advertise on that, and you can choose your target range. You can choose your age range of people you want to target. You could change male or female. You could target your district, what towns you want to target. Like, I'm not going to target the whole state because people from New Haven are not going to drive to Winsted. Although, I mean, I do have people that come from Bristol and West Hartford and stuff, but those are like old clients that have followed me. No. But overall, people aren't going to come from the other side of the state. So I target just like, the northwest corner. And so when I make a big advertisement, I usually get quite a bit of business from that. But most people, like this dog, not this dog, the dog I had earlier, she had come in and she was like, "Oh, I got your name from this lady. She was getting her hair done in Canton, actually. And one of my clients was getting her hair done in Canton, and she had her little dog with her because it was a little tiny Shih Tzu puppy. And she was like, I asked where she gets her dog groomed, and she said you, and so here I am." And she left very happy. So now she'll probably go tell other people. So it just builds up and builds up, and then COVID hit, and you would think that I would have been slower, and I actually got busier. I think I gained like 100 clients from COVID because people moved here from the city and all over Florida. Some people came out of Florida. Some people came out of the cities. California. I have some clients who moved out here from there because of the fires, and it just skyrocketed even more. I'm like, however, if I had been shut down, if the state that they deemed me, what was the word they used?
Essential.
I was deemed essential. If I wasn't, I don't even know that I would have survived, because I don't know how the unemployment would have worked for business owners. I know there were grants and stuff you could do, like apply for. I just feel really lucky that I didn't have to close, because even if I could get unemployment or any of those things, I have a lot of bills. I own a house. I own a vehicle. I have kids. I don't know how people could have done it. I don't know how they did do it. So I was really lucky that I got to stay open.
Yeah.
You know, and this place is great compared to my other one. I didn't really have, it was a large space, but it wasn't pretty. And so I didn't really have like other stuff. It was just grooming. Here I have like a treat bar. I have a thing that hangs on the wall with a bunch of dog collars that I make for sale. And I make a paw balm that I sell, and I make dog treats. I have a refrigerator. I keep frozen dog treats in. So, you know, it's not just like people don't just come for that. They come in and they, you know, just to get treats for their dogs sometimes, especially now that Pet Value has closed. More people are coming in for that kind of stuff. I have my big windows in the front. I change the painting on them seasonally. My cousin's wife does all the painting. And I think that really draws attention because it changes all the time. Opposed to just like getting used to seeing something all the time, you kind of ignore it. But when it's changed, people are like, oh, look, the windows are new. The windows that I have up right now, I tried something different this time. I went with I did a contest on my Facebook page for my clients, and they could all submit a photo of their dog. And then I chose like the top 15 dogs that I thought would be the best, and that, or maybe more than that, 20 something, 30 something dogs maybe. And then people voted on the cutest ones. And so the top 16 made it to the window. And so they're all painted in the windows now. And I think it was just like an extra thing. Like all the other windows were just random breeds of dog, and they were playing in the snow or they were playing in the grass or whatever. And I think this was just an extra thing I did for my clients that I think that they really appreciated. I typically do Christmas gifts as well for not all of them, but I try to do them like usually around November. I start making the Christmas gifts. And this year I did photos of dogs for my clients. I'll show you a couple of them. So I bought a backdrop, and I took their photos. And so these are ones that I haven't seen yet since Christmas, but once they come in, they'll get their photos. Let me see if this one's really cute too. Her name's Echo. So anyone who came in, I started taking the pictures, I think in October. And so if these people came back in before Christmas, they got their photo already. But I have a stack here of people who haven't come back yet, so they'll get theirs. And they love that. That's just, you know, another thing I just try to do for them. Yeah. Does anyone else have questions?
I'm sure they do. Let's see. Someone type in the chat. All right. Who would like to ask a question? Because I know, so I had all the kids come up with like 2 questions they would want to ask.
Okay, sure.
I know we only have about 25 minutes left because this class ends at 12:05. So.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Yeah. We'll ask some questions. Who wants to go first? I know, Annika, you asked one question. I don't know if you had any more questions you wanted to ask.
I have a question.
Okay.
Sorry, my camera isn't on. I lost connection on my laptop again.
Okay.
But so you were talking about like the summer job and everything.
Yeah.
And so I'm just interested. So since we're learning about it, probably not much of us have had experience. Say if we do apply for the job, would there would definitely be training, but what else would imply?
Well, so what the job really would include is just helping to wash. So I would show you how to wash dogs like properly. So I think some people think it's common sense, but there's a little more into it than just throwing some shampoo on and washing it off. So there's that, and then blow drying, and then all the techniques to blow drying. And then I would just start with that for now. Once you're comfortable with that, we can move into more like ear cleaning and toenail clipping, unless you're someone who already has a little experience with that kind of stuff. Maybe you have your own dog and you do it at home, maybe not. Just give me 1 second. I just have to hand a dog to somebody. But it's pretty easy. I mean, you have to be able to not be afraid of dogs. You can't have any fear. Thank you, dear. Thank you. You can't be afraid to get peed on. Can't be afraid to pick up poop. You can't be afraid of blood. Not that that happens a lot, but if like a toenail gets cut a little too short, it bleeds a little bit. I've had some dogs who just are so stressed out that their nose will bleed sometimes, or if they're really old, sometimes they get a nosebleed. So that kind of stuff can't really gross you out. Allergies are probably a big thing. I would think if you have a lot of allergies to animals, it's probably not the best job unless Allegra helps you because there's a lot of dog hair in here. You'll probably eat some of it, but it's not an overly hard job. It's easy to do once you learn how to do it, and it's not. I mean, you have to lift dogs, but we can lift heavy dogs together. I wouldn't make you lift a 60-pound dog by yourself unless you're comfortable with doing it. But I do have dogs that require 2 people for some things, even just toenails. I can do it by myself, but sometimes it's just easier. I have like a Shar-Pei that comes in and she's not nice. She's just not a nice dog. So the dad puts the muzzle on. I can't even put the muzzle on her. And then I have to just 1, 2, 3, pick her up really quick and run to the back and put her on the table. And usually I have somebody just kind of put her head in like a gentle headlock so she can't turn around. And I clip her nails really fast and then she just goes. And I can do it by myself, but it is easier with somebody else. So, and it will take a little time. Like don't expect someone to be like not afraid at all of dogs like this at first. But once you get used to it, you're kind of like, you get the confidence up and you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. She's a lot scarier than she sounds a lot scarier than she is. Because she's very vocal in the muzzle. She's the whole time. And she's intimidating. Even she only weighs like 30 pounds. She's not very big, but she's intimidating. So it just depends on your comfort level and things, but it's not an impossible job to learn. It's relatively easy once you pick it up. You just have to have the determination and the will to want to learn.
Okay, sounds good. Because I would be I'm interested. So
yeah. Well, definitely do some research. Even like there are like classes that you can sign up for online that are relatively cheap that just might go into more things than Miss Holland's class does. I don't remember taking a dog's class. I remember a small animals, large animals, and equine science. I don't remember a dog's class. So I'm not sure what she teaches in that, but there are classes. I have had other employees over the years that I've had take some of these classes, and I think they were like $10 or $15 online, and they teach you like more in depth on how to clean ears or what to look for dirty ears, what would constitute as probably an infection. I don't typically tell someone their dog has an ear infection because I'm not a veterinarian. But even if I'm 100% sure, I will say your dog probably has an ear infection and should probably go to the vet. And I'll clean the ears really well anyway. But some of these little classes online will kind of show you that stuff, or they go into more details on tools and what tools you use on what kind of dog and how to use them. And so that might give you a little bit more of an edge before you would start working, at a place like this. So it would just give you like a heads up. You'd be like, oh, I learned all about these tools on this little class I took, and I kind of know how to use them. So there are things like that you can look into that are helpful. Anybody else?
I'd also like to ask Amie another question. Alex, can you ask a question? Because you had a really good question.
Which one?
I guess ask the first question that you asked.
Okay. So like, what was the hardest thing like in your journey to like become a dog groomer?
The hardest, well, the hardest thing wasn't really becoming the dog groomer. I think the hardest thing was starting my own business. It was just really hard because I chose to leave, and I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea. And I had bills to pay, and I had one little kid. My first daughter was only 2, and I was pregnant with my second baby. And so I was able to collect unemployment for a little while I kind of gathered my thoughts and started my process. But and so that was helpful. But that was probably the hardest part, was getting the confidence to quit my job that I hated. I didn't hate the job. I just hated the place and the people. So that was the hardest. Hardest was just doing it. I just had to rip the Band-Aid off. I always knew I wanted to do it. It was just kind of waiting for the right time. And, you know, the company had changed to the point where it was like the district managers way up had changed. And the people that used to be there idolized me as far as my ideas and my organization for the salon and my ideas for the salon as far as literally everything. But then the company changed hands, and this person came in and said, nope, you're doing nothing by the book. All of this is wrong. You have to take it all down, do this and do that. And none of it was functional properly for like what we use. And it didn't make any sense. This person has never worked in a grooming salon, no idea what they're doing, and told me I was doing everything wrong after years of being told I was doing it better than anyone else. Like, they had other people in other Pecos coming to my salon to see what I do here so that they can bring it back to their salon. And now you're telling me everything is wrong. And I couldn't do it. I said, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm out. Peace. And that was really hard. It was really scary to do that because I didn't know if I would be successful. I didn't know if people from Petco would follow me. I didn't know. It took at least a solid 2 years to get a decent clientele to the point of where I would, I could really sustain myself. Luckily, I had a boyfriend who also was bringing in income, so that was helpful. If I was on my own, I don't know if I would have been as brave. But now I am a single mom of 3 kids, and I run this business, and I own a house, and I still live comfortably. And the best part is I make my own schedule. I'm not here every day. Some days I'm here every day, and I'm here full days. And then there's weeks I'm here maybe 2 or 3 days. Maybe I work a full Saturday, like 8 to 6, and I could make enough money in one day that somebody might make in an entire week at their job, working a 9 to 5. So I think that's also one reason why I love being on my own. I work very hard, but if I don't want to work tomorrow, I don't book any dogs tomorrow, and maybe I'm going to get my hair done, or maybe I just want to take a nap. Maybe I want to clean my house. So it just depends. I'm super flexible, which is nice. I can get out. I can be at all my kids' functions for school. Not obviously now with COVID, but with my older daughter, when I worked at Petco, I was the only groomer for a long time, and I worked 12-hour shifts, sometimes 7 days a week, and for like 2 years of her life, somebody else raised her. Friends, family, my mother. I missed all the first moments. I missed all of that. But with my second one, I was out of the house for a little while, and then I got a shop, so she came with me as a baby, and I didn't miss anything. So those are things you have to think about too when you work for a company opposed to working for yourself. But it is hard getting right out of school and starting a business. So definitely going into someone else's business for a while is definitely good. You learn a lot. Even though I hated Petco at the end, I think I learned a lot from a lot of the groomers I worked with throughout all the states I moved around to. I worked in some private shops as well. Those groomers taught me a lot. So I couldn't have done it on my own for sure. So no matter what field you go into, definitely working for other people for a while is helpful. It's good. But then maybe do your own thing if that's what you want to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Any other questions to ask her? All those volunteers. Victoria, can you ask one of your questions?
Sure. So one of my questions was, how have your grooming techniques changed over the years?
That's a good question. There's a lot of techniques that have changed. There's certain styles have changed, so like certain ways, certain breeds kind of get changed, or tools have developed better, the way that they're made, or like stronger blow dryers. Like I said, this new blow dryer, I can blow dry a dog in half the time opposed to the ones I've had before. Certain brands of scissors, like, you know, when I started out, I got cheaper ones because I couldn't afford the $300 pair of scissors, and they do a good job. But and you think, oh, the more expensive ones can't be any better. Like, they can't be that much better. They're a lot better, way better. I can't even describe how much better. They just cut better. They don't have to be sharpened as often. They feel like they're more comfortable in your hand. But there's techniques as far as like brushing techniques. I'm on a grooming page on Facebook that's called Groomers Continuing Education, I think. And I get a lot of help from that too. Whenever I have a question, I throw it out there. And some of these people have been grooming for years. Some of them are relatively new, but they might have different experience than I have. Maybe they do work with a show groomer. And so learning techniques that show groomers have taught them, they'll, throw into the group. And so I learned a lot of things about products, about there's actually a new technique I've recently tried that I learned from this. It was on a dog that's shedding a lot. Like, let's just say come in with like a Labrador or a Husky or a Golden Retriever or Shepherd or something, and it's just really shedding. My original technique does a pretty good job. It's a special shampoo and conditioner. It's special brushes. I still do the same thing. I've just added a new step now, and I thought, well, I can't really make that much of a difference, but it makes a huge difference, and now I won't do it any other way. And so the step is that when you're putting the conditioner, it's a special conditioner that's designed to pull out the dead coat. So as you put that in and you comb it through the body, you get your big, huge blow dryer that you got, and you blow dry the coat with the shampoo and conditioner in the coat. And then you blow the whole body really good. And then you rinse it really well. And then you're going to put it on the table to blow dry final. But I don't know why this works so well. I think it just really pushes that conditioner through the coat more than your fingers and the brush will do. It helps to separate the coat while the conditioner's in it, but it makes the biggest difference. I have dogs that I've been doing for years, all the same way, and tried this new routine, and I can see the difference the first time I've done it, and how much more hair comes out of them, how much thinner their coat feels as far as dead coat. So it's literally a constant learning. There's never nothing not to learn. Like, you can always learn something. I'm always reading articles. I'm always on the internet, or if I know my own personal dog has a vet appointment coming up just for a checkup or whatever, I'll try to think of anything I can ask my own vet that might benefit me at my job. So like skin conditions, like obviously I'm not a veterinarian. I can't treat anything, and I can't like actually suggest something, but suggest is not really the right word. I can't diagnose anything, but I can make suggestions. So I'll ask the vet, like, if it's a yeasty ear infection, for example, if it's not so severe that they need to go to the vet, what is something that they can use at home? If it's yeasty, if it's a different kind of ear infection that's can't think of the terms off the top of my head right now, but that's not yeast. So anyway, he was like, you can use sounds weird, but vaginal yeast cream. You can put it right in their ear. You can rub it all in there, and it will help clear it up. Other things you can try are even simple as eliminating starches from their diet, food that does not have potatoes in it, that doesn't have rice or potatoes or corn. Help promote yeast, even on the skin. So if they have a skin infection that's yeasty, a lot of dogs get it in their armpits or their crotch area. The vet told me that those things, if you eliminate them from the diet, you can usually eliminate it from their skin. Sometimes they need more, like a medication or a pill or something, or a shampoo, but sometimes it's just as simple as eliminating things from their diet or whatever. So no matter what field you go into, there's always things to learn. There's always, I'm constantly Googling. If a client comes in and tells me their dog was diagnosed with a certain condition and I don't know anything about it, I go home that night and I research all about it. And I learn about it because it's important to know if somebody else comes in now and they're like, my dog just got this. Now I'm aware of how the dog might react or respond, or how they might behave, or how it's going to affect them in the long run. Like Cushing's disease affects a lot of their hair falls out. Typically they shed a lot, even if they're not a type of dog that sheds very much. They can't regulate their body temperature with Cushing's. So they can get cold easy. They need to drink a lot of water when they're on Cushing's. So then they pee a lot. So they might need like a diuretic medication. So there's just so many things. I'm constantly learning, and that's really important. If you're gonna be successful in any business, it's important to never stop doing research on your job, no matter mechanics, electrician, plumbing, bakery, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you do. There's always things to learn.
Good question.
Yeah.
What else? Does anyone else have any other questions you'd like to ask Amie? Or if you want to see anything?
Do you want to see the pit bull? I'll take you back there. He's really cute. His name is Charlie. Oh, there he is. Say hi, Charlie. I know. I can't let you out though, because you'll probably eat the other dog. This is messy in here today. My washing machine broke, so I have to take my towels home until I fix it. But it's my tub and my workspace. I have a board here where I write all my. This is not today's board. Usually I only do this if I have my assistant with me. If it's just me, I don't have 15 dogs. But I usually write their name, the time they come in, the time they leave, who's here, who's not here. I have all kinds of shampoos that are for certain skin conditions. This one is for itchiness. This one's for it's flea relief, so it doesn't kill the fleas. You do a special thing after you do a flea bath. It's another shampoo that relieves the itch. But I have, like, you can see I have a treat bar over there, and like my dog collars that I make. So pretty good.
Would you like to ask another question or like one more question? We have time for like maybe one more question.
It's okay. Come here, Fluffy. Come here.
Is there any questions you'd like to ask, or like one of the questions that you wrote?
I was just gonna ask, like, what's your favorite, like, dog breed to groom? Like, if you had, yeah.
My favorite dog breed to groom?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good one. I like anything that's new, like that's rare. I like real breeds opposed to mixed breeds. I'm not a big doodle fan, but anything that you don't see a lot of. I get really excited when something new comes in, like a collie, Irish wolfhound. I have what's something new that I have? I just had a lady bring in, she just rescued them, and I don't know where she got them from, but they're Norwich Terriers, and they are really cute. And so there's a hand stripping technique. I don't do that. I was never trained in hand stripping, which is basically like a little knife, and you comb all the hair out with that, and that they don't get touched with blades. Scissors a little bit, but no blades. And I was never, that's very much a show dog thing. I am interested in learning it, and I've been thinking about taking a class in it, but it's not even something that's really asked for a lot here. But those dogs, if I was trained in it, I would have done it on them. So I did clip them, and they came out very cute. They look kind of like a Yorkie, but their hair is very wiry, and it's like an orange red. And they have little ears stick up. They're so cute. So when she said she rescued them, I was like, they're probably not even Norwich Terriers, because a lot of people tell me their dog is a dog, and then it comes in, and I'm like, no, it's not. But they were, and I was very excited to see that that's what they were. I probably have a better list of dogs I don't like to groom than what I do like to groom. I really like grooming all the good dogs. I'm not a big fan of Cocker Spaniels, not a big fan of German Shepherds. In the grooming world, at least, because Cockers bite a lot of the times. They don't like their feet touched. German Shepherds have a lot of separation anxiety, so they're crazy. Usually Huskies too. If anyone says, yeah, I want to get my Husky groomed, my face probably looks like this. But I'm like, okay. I put on my customer service voice, but I'm probably dreading it because I have a couple that are really good, but typically they hate being touched with water. They scream the whole time. Sometimes they get nippy for brushing. Yeah. As a pet, I think they're great. In the grooming world, it's like a completely different experience.
Interesting. I have one really quick question because I know they got to go soon.
Yeah.
But with doodles, because I know like a lot of people now have like golden doodles or whatever. Are they more difficult to groom? Like there's a lot more hair. Like are they really hypoallergenic? Or like what's your?
So that's a good question.
Experience?
So it's not that they're more difficult to groom. It's just that people who breed them are inexperienced a lot of times. So, and not all of them, but a lot of them. And a lot of these breeders that breed doodles breed them for the money. That's all they care about. So a lot of people, they get these puppies and they're really cute, but just like any other dog that requires haircuts, they are not aware of how much work it is to upkeep these dogs. So like if you went to a really good breeder and you got a standard poodle or you got a Shih Tzu from a good breeder, they're going to tell you this dog requires this much work. You need to bring it all the time. Like you need to bring it to a groomer at 10 weeks old. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have to get a haircut, but it has to start going. It has to even just get a wash and a brush. Has to get used to this. And a lot of even people who breed purebred dogs, if they're not good breeders,
like
they won't. They just are like, here's a puppy, here's $800, whatever. And so I get a lot of doodles that come in at 6, 7, 8 months old and have never been touched before by grooming people, and they're terrified. But now when you have a golden doodle, for example, even at 7 months old, can be a 60-pound dog that's going to fight me on it, and it's going to be terrified. It's probably going to pee or poop on the table. It's scary. It's very scary. Even, I even have some people who have brought me golden retrievers at 3 years old and have never been professionally groomed before. And I'm like, great. This is going to be great. It's going to be a great day. And sometimes they're okay. Sometimes I'm completely shocked at how well behaved the dog is. And other times it behaves exactly like I expect them to. I mean, I think there was another part to that question, but I don't remember what it was. Doodles. It's not really that they're harder. It's just that a lot of times they just don't have the experience. The dog I had earlier this morning that was recommended by the hairdresser lady was a Cavalier King Charles mixed with a poodle. And he was very matted. And he was about 2 or 3 years old. She said it wasn't her dog. It was her son's dog. The girlfriend and the son broke up. And so the son has the dog and he doesn't really care for it as far as grooming goes. And I can tell the second I turn the clippers on that in this dog's 2 years of life, it's probably been groomed once or twice, which should be done on a dog like that on average every 3 months, probably. So that's 4 groomings a year. So he should have at least 8 groomings under his belt. And he didn't. And I can tell because he was terrified and he was very stiff. He also wasn't neutered. And a lot of times when they're not neutered, they tuck their legs under because they don't want you to touch them under there. And they get really weird about it. And I'm like, I know it's weird. We got to do it. But he was just terrified. And he peed on the table a little bit because he was so scared. He didn't really bite. I muzzled him for his feet a little bit because precautionary reasons. He didn't try to bite me, but he was just so scared that I was worried he might. Mm-hmm. And so now I have a new client. It's not a new client. I have a client whose dog died, but they just got a standard poodle puppy. but they were leaning towards a doodle. And I said, they were asking me my opinion, and I said I wouldn't get a doodle. And I said, why do you want a doodle opposed to, say, a standard poodle? What's your reasoning? And they're like, well, they're just so cute and fluffy. And I said, well, a standard poodle is cute and fluffy. And I said, oh, I know what your other question was. It was about hypoallergenic. I'll get to that in a second. And I said, just because you have a standard poodle doesn't mean you have to shave its face and shave its feet to look like a poodle. You can leave a big fluffy head. There's no rules that says you have to do it because that's the kind of dog it is. And I said, in my opinion, the standard poodles have a better, if you get it from a good groomer or a good breeder, you have a better lineage, and you have a better temperament, and you have a better behavior. The doodles, because it's mixed, you get the smartness from the poodle, but then you get the, and I love golden retrievers, but you get the doofy idiotness from the golden, and you get them mixed together, and you get this great smart dog who doesn't know any better, and he's all over the place. And that's how they are. They're very crazy dogs, I think, in my opinion. Labradoodles seem to be more relaxed than golden doodles. And so they went with my choice, and they got the standard poodle. But my other suggestion, because they've only had schnauzers, and schnauzers don't require as much grooming as often. They do require some, but poodles, especially when you want to leave them fluffy. So, and he was a puppy, and I said he needs to come in every 2 weeks for at least 6 weeks. So every 2 weeks for 6 weeks, and then we can go like 3 or 4 weeks out each visit. And she has stuck to that every single time. She hasn't missed an appointment. She hasn't changed it. And he is becoming the best puppy. He is learning his manners very well. He's not scared of anything, except the only thing he doesn't like is his feet touch so far. Whenever I do anything else, he's fine. I pick his little feet up, and he's like, woo, 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 woo. And I'm like, it's just your feet, man. Gotta get over it. But he'll get there. But the hyperallergenic thing is only true if, and no dog really is 100% hypoallergenic, no matter what. No Yorkie, Maltese, they just don't shed the same, and they don't, the dander doesn't develop the same, but they're not like truly hypoallergenic. Mm-hmm. It's just that people can tolerate them a lot more, so they become known as hypoallergenic. But with doodles, if you take a golden and a poodle and you get a puppy, that's only 50% of each parent. So that's a first generation, they call it first generation. And you don't know what you're going to get. Some of the puppies can have a curly coat, and some of the puppies can have a straight coat. And so then what you have to do is the breeder has to take one of those puppies and breed it again to a poodle. And then you get a second generation. And again, now it's only like 75 one and 50 or 25 the other. So again, you don't know what you're going to get, curly or straight. So they take another puppy from that litter and breed it again to a poodle. And now you have like 90% poodle and 10% golden. And so you get a more curly coat. You're more apt to get all curly coats out of that litter. You might throw one wiry type coat. In the grooming world, we call it a broken coat. It just, a lot of people mistake it for terrier. A lot of people tell me they have a terrier. I'm like, you don't have a terrier. It's probably a Shih Tzu mixed with a Beagle. There's no terrier in there, but because it has a wiry coat, because it's a fluffy dog and a short-haired dog, they get this wiry terrier coat, but there's no terrier in a dog. But like when you rescue a dog and you don't really know what it is, you guess. I get terrier a lot. I'm like, man, it's not a terrier. But that's really the only way to get a doodle to be like truly hypoallergenic, is to go with a third generation puppy. But again, my opinion is just go with a poodle, because you can keep it as fluffy as you want.
Yeah.
The doodles are really crazy. Burmese mountain dogs mixed with poodle, forget about it. I have a couple of those. They are insane. They're insane. I wouldn't get one. But
all right. Well,
all right.
Well, really, thank you for your time for talking to the group.
You're welcome.
Cass, thank you for being attentive and asking questions. So, what do you guys all say?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much.
Right, you're welcome. You're welcome, Rebecca. Okay. Bye.
Bye.